The days after Bella's arrival had been filled with tension, each of us on edge as we waited for the Volturi's next move. But tonight felt different, heavier, as if a shadow was pressing down on us. Bella was pacing near the fireplace, her expression distant, lost in thought. She had that look in her eyes again, the one that made her seem older than time itself, burdened with secrets that went far beyond anything we could understand. As I watched her, I couldn't help but feel a mixture of admiration and curiosity. There was so much I didn't know about her, parts of her life she'd never shared. I wanted to understand her fully, but Bella's world was a labyrinth of ancient lore, one she rarely let anyone venture into, for her knowledge was power, and trust was something she gave sparingly, to few people. Yet, even with her guarded nature, she stayed here for me. When I approached her, Bella paused her pacing, her gaze flicking to mine with a hint of that private warmth I'd come to treasure. "Something's been bothering you," I said softly, searching her face. "Is it the Volturi?" Her eyes darkened, and she sighed, a rare sound of reluctance. "The Volturi are part of it," she admitted, glancing toward the rest of my family, who were seated across the room, watching us with silent curiosity. "But it goes deeper than that." Carlyle leaned forward, his expression cautious but intrigued. "What do you mean, Bella? Deeper how?" Bella hesitated, her face hardening as if debating how much to share. She hated showing vulnerability, hated revealing the depths of her knowledge, but I could tell she was on the edge of something important. Finally, she spoke, her voice low and tense. "There's an ancient prophecy, tied to our kind. It's older than the Volturi, older than most vampires know. A prophecy that, if fulfilled, could change everything about how we live, and how we die." Her words sent a shiver through me, and I saw the way the others exchanged uneasy glances. Prophecies were the stuff of myth, legends we told ourselves to explain things we couldn't understand. But Bella wasn't one for superstition. If she was speaking of it now, there was a truth to it that couldn't be ignored. "It's a warning, really," she continued, her tone grim. "The prophecy speaks of a line of vampires bound by a blood oath. If that line is broken, if the loyalty within that line falters, it could lead to ruin. The Volturi aren't just here to keep order, they're here because they believe they have a claim to that prophecy. They think they are that bloodline." The tension in the room grew, a heavy silence hanging between us as Bella's words sank in. I felt the weight of her gaze as she looked at me, her expression softening in a way that was meant only for me. "But they're wrong," she said quietly. "The prophecy doesn't speak of them." Edward's brow furrowed. "Then who does it speak of?" he asked, his voice laced with suspicion. Bella's gaze drifted toward me, a glimmer of regret in her eyes. "The prophecy speaks of a family who will unite under a bond strong enough to defy the Volturi's rule, to live independently, bound by their own loyalty," she explained. "That family, Edward, is yours." A stunned silence filled the room as we processed her words. Carlyle looked troubled, his expression thoughtful. "But why haven't we heard of this prophecy before?" he asked, his tone gentle but firm. Bella hesitated, her jaw tightening as if wrestling with something deep within her. "Because it's been kept hidden," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "And Rosalie has known about it, just as I have." My heart pounded, and I felt the weight of everyone's eyes on me. It was true, I'd learned pieces of it over time, small fragments of a legend that had been passed down to me by Bella, in secret. I had never fully understood it, nor had I wanted to. But now, with the threat of the Volturi closing in, those secrets couldn't remain hidden any longer. Carlyle's gaze softened as he looked at me, a mixture of concern and understanding in his eyes. "Rosalie, why didn't you tell us?" I glanced at Bella, who nodded subtly, a silent reassurance. "I didn't know what to believe," I admitted. "Bella told me bits and pieces, but I didn't realize the full weight of it until now." Bella stepped closer, her hand brushing mine in a silent gesture of support. It was a simple touch, but it steadied me, grounding me in a way that only she could. I felt her silent promise, her fierce loyalty that had bound her to me for centuries. She had protected me, kept these secrets for me, even though they could mean the difference between life and death. "Now you know," Bella said, her voice soft, yet unyielding. "And now you understand why the Volturi are so interested in you. They think if they can destroy your loyalty, your bond, they can break the prophecy. They want you under their control, because if you remain independent, you're a threat." Emmett shifted uncomfortably, his gaze flicking between Bella and me. "So what do we do?" he asked, his voice thick with uncertainty. Bella's eyes hardened, a glint of determination shining through. "We don't let them win," she said simply. "We stay together, bound by loyalty. That's the only way to survive." Carlyle nodded slowly, though I could see the worry etched on his face. "But what about you, Bella? How do you fit into all of this?" A shadow passed over her face, and for a moment, I thought she wouldn't answer. but then she looked at me, her expression softer, a hint of vulnerability that she rarely showed. "I'm here because of Rosalie," she said, her voice a quiet confession. "Our bond is older than this prophecy, older than the Volturi. She's my family, my loyalty. I would do anything for her." Her words hung between us, unspoken yet powerful, and I felt a warmth spread through me, a connection that went beyond loyalty or duty. Bella's eyes lingered on mine, and in that gaze, I saw everything she'd never say aloud, a silent vow, a promise that she would stand by me, no matter what. The family looked on, some understanding the weight of what she'd said, others still processing it. But for me, it was enough. Bella had always been my protector, my constant, even when I didn't understand the reasons behind it. Now, with everything on the line, I knew I could trust her fully, even if it meant walking into the unknown. After a long pause, Edward broke the silence. "If we're going to stand against the Volturi, we'll need to know everything about this prophecy," he said, his voice steady. Bella nodded reluctantly, a flicker of something ancient and haunted in her gaze. "I'll tell you what I know," she agreed, "but be warned, the secrets I carry are dangerous. Once you know them, there's no turning back." We gathered around her, each of us tense, ready to hear the full truth. Bella took a breath, her expression distant as she began to tell the story of the prophecy, of the ancient families bound by loyalty and blood, of betrayals and alliances that had shaped the vampire world for centuries. And as she spoke, I felt her hand brush mine again, a small gesture hidden from the others, a reminder that no matter what, we were in this together. Her loyalty was unwavering, her strength unmatched, and in that moment, I knew that with Bella by my side, I could face whatever secrets lay hidden in our past.